we're good. We have 2 cameras, one in the back and one up front.
Okay. Okay, so I guess let's just kind of repeat the conversation from September the 9th. And, last year we had some things brought up during budget time, and we haven't really reached a resolution with those things. So I brought them up on the 9th. We discussed getting some opinions to figure out where we were at and what we could and couldn't do. And between the 9th and today, unfortunately, we've not been able to get any answers. So where does that leave us with regard to the matters that have been brought up? So previously we discussed the rent and the fact that there's 4 different line items that reference rent in the budget. One of them in the general fund for office rent, one of them in township assistance for office rent, and one of them in recreation for rent/professional services. When we asked why we had those 3 rent categories on the 9th, it was pretty much determined then that the third one, Tony can correct me if I get these backwards. The third one, the recreation, rent is on there, but it's not used for rent.
Is rent/professional services.
Exactly, and the expenditures from that line had nothing to do with rent, so I had no further questions on that. Under township assistance, under rentals, we looked at the office rent, and then under general, we looked at the office rent, and I asked about those, and it was for this building to you, Thelma, one for the office, and the other was for the Grace Pantry. So the question was brought back up that is a repeat from 2024 as to why we would want to spend $1,200 a month on rent when we have rooms at the other building that we're trying to rent. So we kind of spent a year and circled back around and no conversation. And then it was brought up on the 9th, could we even continue to do that with paying rent to you? So we had questions that we wanted to get legal advice and counsel on, but we weren't able to do that.
No, the way, no, you want to, or?
Well, I mean, I can, it's just the way the board's, because over the 39 years, well, we didn't have any of that building over there, or
Yeah.
anything
Usable.
usable. I still had a grocery store here and ran the office upstairs, and at that time, on the first election, rent was $70 a month, was what the old trustee was getting for an area in her garage. And so we left it at $70 a month for probably 8 years. I can look back at, but the whole budget for the township itself, which they didn't do anything, they didn't spend any money, was only like 7,000 or 8,000 a year. So the only monies that were taken out or used was for the trustee and for the board members. So we had to get permission to take the signs down on the township property. They all had no trespassing signs on. And especially our park up here, the weeds and the grass and everything was over everybody's head. And we went in and cleared it all off. And the merchants in town, we all pitched in together and bought the insurance to cover our first Heritage Days. And that's something that's missing. I don't think people remember where we were and how we got to where we are now. It's all been in steps and changes all along the way. So when it comes down to the rent on the building, I closed my store. I had to hire somebody to work in the store while I did the trustee stuff. And we did a lot our first year. Acquiring Redneck Hall and the community center up here. Those were the things that I wanted the first year. And we did it all. But Randy May, our board member, was in real estate. And he's the one that came up with the square footage or whatever it was.
The cost per square foot and things like that.
Well, the reason I bring this up is, one, when I came on the board, this was the person that was also seeking to be on the board. This was a big issue for me. It got brought up last year by a member of the public, and we said we were going to look at it. We come around this year, and I assume that we've looked at it, and on the 9th, it was like it was a surprise again that I was bringing it up. Not my intent to surprise and bring it up, but last year we said we were going to circle back around to it. And we are. And I don't necessarily have a direction, because on the 9th we said we were going to get an opinion, and we didn't do that.
Well, we were first gonna try to with the county attorney. Were you able to get a hold of him at all?
They said we'd get someone.
Get somebody, that's right.
Yeah, it needed to be a truly independent.
Well, I know her position when I asked her about the $1,000 for Ferguson. The decision when you have comes with questions with the rent, it's always the audit, State Board of Accounts. So
And that's my biggest concern.
That's why I called, well, like I said, that's your concern. But we're in contact with Jonathan Winiger. I think I emailed everybody. He said he couldn't give us a determination because he was getting ready for the ITA conference. This is the Indiana Township conference, which we talked about. I mean, my concern with everything and all the changes currently going on with the budgets, and you're familiar with the Senate Bill 1 and I think House Bill 14, whatever it is, they are manipulating townships like they never have before. I just don't want it to be a snag in the budget. I know there's some concerns. I think I'd like to see the budget passed, and then we can readjust the concerns, especially after that report from.
My issue with that is it's not a new concern. It got brought up last year. We were going to get answers. We didn't get answers. It gets brought up over 2 weeks ago, and we still don't get answers. I thought we were going to get answers, and then we were said, "Oh no, we're not going to do that." Why didn't we pursue getting an answer?
I don't know. I was in the hospital doing other things.
No, this is
one
after
asked
you were
about
out.
the $1,000.
No.
Yep, and
So in the last couple of weeks, how come you said no to getting the answers from the attorney?
Because we have Steve
See, the problem was that wasn't told to us. We asked, and it was, if you could find an attorney. No, on the 9th we asked.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, we could have done that over the last year.
Mhm.
On the 9th, we asked about it, we were told to get an attorney. Me, you, and Joanne say, okay, let's call this person to do it, and then we don't. That was a public meeting, that was all on the record. How, I mean, I get what you say,
Yeah.
just pass the budget and we talk about it later,
Well, I don't think we should.
but then we talk about it
Don't
again
let it
next
drop.
year.
No. I'd say we'll put it immediately in our, well, we're gonna have an answer coming from Jonathan no matter what.
We
No matter
hope.
what. Oh, their state board of accounts do that stuff.
The State Board of Accounts is very good at giving you no answer, and then when they come down and audit you, they know the answer immediately. So they like to give you an opinion, but not an answer. And then when they come down and audit you, by golly, they
How
find
many
the
audits
answer.
have you been through?
A lot. Not
Not
State
with the
Board,
township.
not with State Board, but with multiple different companies.
Well,
But, you know, what I've called State Board of, I can't give you answers, but I can give you an opinion. That is what they tell you. When you call their legal,
I've got some of that.
when you
too.
call their legal, when you call anything up at State Board of Accounts, they will tell you, I can't give you answers, but I can give you my opinion.
Well, my.
And then I'm told that
let me
opinion
interject here.
changes.
We can get this resolved. It is a speed bump, and I appreciate everything you're saying. But my biggest concern, we have to do public advertising for this budget. If we don't do it, our time frame is we're gonna have to re-advertise for it, and it's gonna be after September 30th. If we don't have it by the 30th, we're in danger of losing next year's LIT. And I really don't know which way anyone's gonna go on that.
I mean, I'm not, we all agree we have to do the budget.
I just don't wanna risk
But
that.
my issue is, we could have had an answer last week.
Oh,
A professional, trained opinion last week. And now we
Was
don't.
it worth $1,000 when the State Board of Accounts makes a true answer?
I believe that an attorney that deals with that a lot, it was worth knowing whether we're gonna get things
That
done.
$1,000 would go a long way.
Well, I don't know that it was gonna cost $1,000.
Well, it was a
$1,000
retainer.
retainer, if we had taken an hour, $300 of that.
Once the retainers go out, we don't get them back. I mean, I appreciate everything you're saying, everything you're doing, but, I mean, we've got 11,000 increase on this year's budget. Besides, I mean, this make the number one topic for next meeting, and I mean, it's
well,
on camera, video, and everything else, we just need to go back to it.
I for one did not know that there was such a big issue about the monies.
It- To me, it's not about the money. I wanna make sure it's done right through the State Board of Accounts office.
Yeah.
They're looking at every way possible to take money from us. I have no idea whether it's good or not. It may be. You say it's good. I just wanted an independent opinion, so if they ding us on the audit, we can go, here's our attorney that said it was fine, and they don't hold it against us.
Well, and then last
We did our
year,
due
when it
diligence.
got brought up, it was slightly an argument in here. I don't remember who brought it up sitting in the crowd, but you talked to him. And you told him that you made the decision on where the office was. The office was gonna be here. You didn't give $10 over what got paid, but you weren't gonna move the office. And we approved the budget as it was, continued the $1,000
Sounds
bucks.
pretty strong.
You were pretty strong.
You were pretty mad. But
Well,
I mean, it's under the code, the township executive decides where the office is. But it's, then you come into interpretations and everything else. The only thing I say about getting someone else beside the attorney, the State Board of Accounts is still the key agency that we have to work with.
Steve Bushman, there's the.
But my thing is, I'd just rather have an independent look at it and tell, we can go to State Board of Accounts. Because we can tell them, we looked at it all we want,
Yeah.
but
But I mean, it's,
we asked on the 9th, you said there's no lease for the building.
correct.
You said, when we asked if there was a lease, you said, no, we always just pay it because we always pay it. I mean, that
To a
was,
certain degree.
yeah, I mean, that
that
was,
was brought up because we're wanting to do leases with any and every group that
Right.
we're dealing with.
Mhm.
So if we don't have a lease on our own office, how can we,
I think it's considered a reimbursement under the code.
well, I mean, paperwork can say that, right?
But the person asked would be, there's 2 compliance officers that take care of townships, and that's,
I mean, that's the thing. I just want to make sure that no matter whether it's money irregardless, I want to make sure that our documentation is right, and they're not going to come back and say, hey, that 12,000, there was no contractual obligation. We want it. Excuse me. That's my worry is,
all right.
we got to have the paperwork. Excuse me. The paperwork to back up what this money's going to. You said it yourself. End of this year, if we don't have every dollar spent, they're taking part of it.
No,
In capital outlay, correct?
not, you're talking about the 30% they're talking
Yeah.
about transferring.
Because you and I sat over there.
That actually starts the end of fiscal year 26. It's really complicated.
I was gonna say, because you showed me on Gateway.
The end of our fiscal year 25, we have a target for our general fund that we need to be pretty close on in order to get everything taken care of for the next year. There's about 8 different steps going on the next 3 years. I know you're wearing with the fire department.
I mean,
There's a lot of hoops.
You and I sat over there, and,
Yeah.
and we went in Gateway, and we entered a number, and we had $3,000 left. And the next thing we know, 300 of that 3,000 was gone, and they were taking it.
Yeah.
And you're like, hold on, we've got to reappropriate this.
And that's their programming sheets, which they've since changed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because they're trying to take every dollar they can, so I don't want to give them any excuse to take anything.
Now, the new KIP agreement that we reached agreement on and signed, I think the 9th,
Yes, the 3 year.
that actually skirts some of those problems. From now on, we're gonna be focusing our township mainly into the recreation fund.
Because that way it shows that the funds are allocated, there's money planned for that money.
Right.
And it's in writing, and we can show them that, hey, we did
Well,
it.
it's
So here's where.
it's a restricted fund,
Yeah.
that's why.
On this situation, on the 9th, we chose to do something.
Yes.
We then are told, well, Thelma doesn't want to do that, so you've got no authority. You can't do it. How do I know that we're not going to still be asking the same questions next year if we can't do what we need to do because Thelma doesn't want to? Can we just agree to get the answers, get the assurances, and move on past this for right now?
I agree 100%, but I think the right place to get the answers would be the state. They'd be the one that be auditing, they'd be the one asking the questions.
But I wanted quick answers, so we would have this settled tonight. We knew we weren't gonna get that.
If the ITA didn't have their conference right on,
Well,
right now,
don't really care about their schedule, right? Like, we're the ones sitting here having to
Yeah.
make decisions.
but I mean, both Tanner and Jonathan are at the conference.
And that's pretty poor.
Can you not draft something that goes along with the budget, a letter of some sort that states
Or what would you like to see?
that you have requested and now you're demanding that an opinion be drawn
I
on
don't
whether or
think-
not this is legal?
I don't know if I'd use
That the
demand.
decision has to be brought to you by a certain time, 30, 60, 90 days?
That's my thing. We've got 98 days roughly until the end of the year. If the budget's approved and we get word from the state that that's not allowed, we want it by the end of the year. We want some kind of
Well-
yes or no before this budget takes effect on that from the state.
Oh, that's good, but I mean, I think there's a secondary question. If they don't allow what we're doing, we've gotta fix it.
That's what I'm saying. We need it.
Yeah.
Which you've got a way to fix it. And it's not a comfortable way. But it's
But no matter
putting that
what,
money in a different place.
That's my problem. If they come back, we approve this tonight, and there's no backup plan, that $12,000 is gone, correct?
no,
Unless we get it moved before the end of the year, right?
no,
Really?
no. I think you're talking about the money that we're actually paying for rent. It could be reappropriated.
Okay, so we can move it
If they say you can't do this, it could be changed into a manner where it can't be done.
Because that was my concern too, is if they come back after we've approved this, the budget's locked in, and then they say you can't do that, we can still move it within the,
There's a lot of
Okay.
flexibility after the
You
budget.
can reallocate the money, as long as you stay within that
Your line
line
item.
item, yeah, that category. You can move the lines around.
All right, so going back to what my kind of question was, because I'm not okay with the direction we're going with that. We've got a professional services line in the general fund for $10,000. We've got a professional services line, and legal services line in township assistance. And we've got a professional services for $7,500 in recreation. We've got over $20,000 in appropriations that qualify for the $1,000 retainer that we asked to spend.
Right.
I wanna know right now, between now and next year, how much of that $20,000 Thelma or you are comfortable with us spending on legal counsel? Because the money's there to do it, and we just chose not to. So, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with passing a budget that we can't do anything with because you say no. So, just tell me a dollar amount that you'll let us spend on legal counsel.
I think that's ridiculous.
Well, I
That's,
don't think it's ridiculous, don't I?
you know, it's a petty little thing.
It is a petty little thing. It doesn't need to be a big deal. We could have paid the $1,000 retainer, got the answers, and none of this conversation would even happen.
Well, we would have got an answer from Ferguson, but still, if it's not from the state, that's where we would have our issue. I mean, that's why it's best to just talk to a horse directly and
I don't agree with that, and I will never agree with
with the state.
that. Yeah, with dealing with them directly, trust me, it depends on which one you get. And you know,
I'll give you that.
you get 10 answers from 10 different people up there, depending on which auditor you get assigned.
But then, when you're dealing with attorneys, you can get the same number of different answers based on how they want to spin it, or
the one difference is though, when we have an attorney opinion on something, and we showed to state boards of accounts, we at least did our due diligence and weren't negligent in just assigning funds. We did our own homework. We got a legal opinion from someone that specializes in it. They're not with state board of accounts, but that's their expertise.
but the same piece of paper from the state board of accounts would be the same thing.
You're not gonna get that though. You're
I
gonna
need
get
a piddly amount of money to ease this concern and let's move on. Like, piddly was your words, not mine.
It is business.
It is.
Reach an
With
agreement, move
everything
on.
else, I don't know.
I mean,
What
the only thing I can say in her behalf, over 15 years, she saved almost $1 million that we're spending now. But I mean, that's being frugal, and I know a lot of people are frugal, but she just felt that the question would be better addressed towards let's go like the Indiana Township Association's attorney or the State Board of Accounts.
Here's the thing, you have all of that, we do not.
You do too. All you have
Well-
is call number.
But who do we need to contact? You gave us Jonathan's number, he hadn't responded to my call, but I'm
You
sure
probably won't till after.
that that's this week.
Do you get, do the board members, both of you, do you get anything from the State Board of Accounts? No mailings of any kind?
Nothing. And even this conference that Tony told us about, we could have went and got these answers, hands down. Didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I found out
I
about it
don't
Friday.
know how to. I mean, we can look and
Well, that's
find
an
a way to
annual
get
thing
signed up.
that
Yeah.
happens every year.
But the problem we had this year, at least on my side, you didn't know till August 25th what the schedule was gonna
Right.
be. That's why I didn't know.
No, I mean, it is what it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm getting at. How do we come to agreement that we're not going to be down this path again?
How about if we do not get a satisfactory answer from the State Board of
No.
Accounts by the
No,
next
no.
meeting,
I'm asking you
then,
to give me a dollar amount that you will be okay with us using if we feel like we need to. We should not have these conversations. It's not a you versus us versus you, but it feels that way when we're like, oh, okay, everyone in the room was in a consensus. We'll reach out to these guys, we'll get an answer. And then Tony emails us and says, Thelma said no.
But he was
Why?
involved in the conversation to do this. And then he said he gave it to you and you said no.
Well, I thought Cochran would give you a quick answer.
I think asking for a couple $1,000s to use when we feel necessary is not unreasonable. And that's all I've been doing the whole time. But
That's your power, not
it's
mine.
a stonewall.
I think that's a wasted resources.
Well, do we want to start on me going this line by line and talk about wasted resources too? Because that's the thing, like, where do you draw a line on waste?
Because we know there's gonna be $1,000 left at the end of the year we spend on something.
That's
And we
true.
could have used it on this.
Could've
You want to concede
done
that,
so
just
the
for the
right
benefit
time to move
of moving
on.
forward?
Because we don't need any more white tables over at Smithville.
No. They're wanting to
They
get
would
rid of
have
a bunch
paid
of
for
other ones.
this.
That's what I'm saying. And rather than buy a bunch of tables at the end of the year, we could have used 1,000 here.
Had it in the file on record, done deal.
Well, I mean, if it's gonna solve anything, I say go ahead and get your questions for an attorney.
I mean, that's my thing, Thelma. For that $1,000 retainer, which, like he said, it'll probably take an hour at most. It will solve all of this, and it will be a dead issue and doesn't need to be discussed. We'll have answers for the public if they ask. You'll have answers for the public, and they'll say,
I have answers for the
But
public.
Thelma, all I'm getting at is ultimately, we can pass the CIP, we can pass this budget, and there's not a thing that says any of it gets done if we don't work together to get things done. Ultimately, all the projects that we just sit here and passed on, you can say no to. That's not the way we should be working. I don't think that we will. I don't know.
I don't know, we've accomplished a lot in the last
I,
39 years, so.
I'm not saying that.
there's a lot been done.
Well, and Mr. Bartlett wanted to bulldoze that whole complex over there,
And now it looks
to
beautiful.
begin with, and it's,
We
I don't
get,
think anyone questions.
Oh, no.
I definitely don't question
no.
all that you've gotten done, because you've gotten done a lot of things have been accomplished under your leadership. I think the only thing that they're looking at is moving forward and how best to move forward.
The
And
state,
you know that.
the state has made it clear they're watching townships. Let's remove the doubt, say we did everything we could.
let me throw something
has
at you.
been there, they've been
They're
doing
really-
away
Let
with
me come up
townships.
with a compromise. How about we will give Jonathan and the State Board of Accounts till the 1st of October to answer the question at hand, and if not, you allow the expenditure of $1,000.
Okay, but that's not my point. Okay, let me clarify my point.
He
My
wants that
point
question.
is not this specific situation anymore.
Okay.
It's how to avoid this specific situation going forward. So at this point, we needed the answer for tonight. Tonight comes and goes. How do we prevent this going forward the next time something like this comes up? And I don't think we can do that unless we come to an agreement in this meeting on when we can do that and when we can't. So that's why I'm asking you to tell me, out of this budget, how much of that are we able to utilize for legal counsel? That's all I'm asking. Because there's a line here for
There's a legal.
$3,000, specifically for legal services.
That's not
So we're not-
always used.
Well, yeah, I think
Well, what
this
are
year
we
we're
using
like
it for?
400 and some odd dollars this
Yeah.
year.
Taxing people, what are we using that for?
Well, you break them down to the larger funds and areas.
But all I'm saying is, we got $1,000 line in this, $3,000 line in this budget, and we can't spend 1,000 of it. That's a good smile, Tony.
Well,
That's a good smile.
Well, my thing is, I'm concerned if we okay $1,000 and the State Board of Accounts comes up with a clarification.
Well, I'm
I think it's
concerned that
wasted
we're approving
resources,
$3,000 and we're not gonna use it. I mean,
too. I just think if the township executives, the way it's set up, if the township executive thinks it's prudent, we can be in the same boat again. I agree. I mean, that's kind of the
but we
system.
don't really
checks and
even know
balances.
that, because that was part of the question that we were asking.
But from where I'm sitting, if you give him basically $1,000 out of the budget he can use on legal fees,
Uh-huh.
and you get your answer,
Yeah.
he doesn't have to spend it.
Well-
He's kind of got that there. If another question comes up
Agreed.
later in the
Oh,
year,
that's
he's already
different.
got, you know.
That's my thing.
If it's rephrased something like that, I would just hate to see after all these contacts have been made, we get the answer, then we lost our $1,000.
And
But
But
I'm
here's the
okay
thing.
with this situation.
The thing is,
Okay.
I wanted it for tonight. That's come and gone. I'm talking about going forward.
yeah,
I don't wanna run into this obstacle again and miss the meeting that we need the info.
and the $1,000 doesn't go away.
Exactly.
It sits there, can be used at any time.
But if you pay the retainer tonight, you can get an opinion, which is just an opinion,
Well-
that you can take to the board,
Uh-huh.
that this is what the opinion is. You can get that opinion probably before October 31st.
Tomorrow.
Huh?
Tomorrow.
You can get it
I'm
before
okay
the
with
budget.
waiting until the first
Yeah.
if we can get an answer.
but if you
I think
don't,
you should
you
be
want to
able to-
be able to move forward.
Exactly, because things come up and we have 2 weeks sometimes. We can't rely on the free help. That's what that money's there for.
We're saying,
Yeah, I mean, that's.
you're willing to wait for the answer, and if you can't get the answer back, then they go ahead and use that to give them an opinion. That'll work?
Yeah. Just don't wanna run circles and have the same conversation with the same people next year. Alright. I'm okay with all the other lines. Just those stick out to me and I wanna get an opinion on them. And again, we've got $3,000 for legal services. If we're not gonna use money for things that we're saying we're gonna use it for, I'm agree with having it in the budget. So,
And just a little background on some of these line items and where they're created. Net Results is the one that comes up with the township management web system. They're the ones that actually create the lines, and they're just utilized. We are in the middle of, there are some adjustments we can do at the end of the year, these lines. As far as like the name, rent/professional.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, then I'm.
We
The
like
lines
that
can be-
changed
the
too.
lines can be moved
Oh,
within
talking
that-
just descriptions
within
of
that
some of the
category,
stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
descriptions can only be changed by net results at the first of each year. So we can make that as part of the budget, when we get rent off that one line at the first of the year also.
Yeah, I just think it looks bad to have 3 different rent line items.
It's workable.
and aren't we charging Grace $200 a month to distribute?
No,
out
it's
here?
$100 a month, because I think the budget we use $1,200 every year instead of $2,400.
Well, it has 2,400, but
Yeah, we use $1,200, I think, I looked the last 2 years, we spent, actual was $1,200 a year. So it's $100 a month for Grace,
But we don't do that with the other.
We just give them free space.
because they're in
Yeah, and
township,
utilities.
because they're in, yeah.
Because they're in a township building and it doesn't cost us anything to let them have the space.
Now,
The
the-
same thing if the township was over there, it wouldn't cost anything, what it does cost here. But even if the township moves out of here, you still have a food pantry here. So you have to make a determination how to take care of the food pantry, and that's a question you ask the attorney. Because if you're concerned about Thelma on this level, you gotta be concerned about her on that level food pantry's been here a long time, I think they feel pretty solid here. I don't know where there's another space, and I would never give away their community center for anything, but.
I can tell you right now, they're welcoming, but they ain't that welcoming.
Well, I mean, they're busy, and they've got a lot of stuff going on, but the food pantry does need a space, and it's a good space for it.
Yeah, and this food pantry also, they serve Polk and Indian Creek,
Yeah,
Clear Creek all together. But you never know how things are going on with townships, they may clump three of us all together.
So yeah, those two don't really have a functioning
And just
township office.
for clarity, in the assistance line, we do provide $2,000 to each of them each year to distribute food.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So the township provides Grace with this food pantry with a space, they provide the one in Smithville with the space, and they provide $2,000 to both of them for food purchase.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
What
outside
do
of
you need, what do you need to do, Tim?
You need a motion?
All right, I will motion to approve the budget as it is presented.
second. In favor?
Aye. Anything else on the agenda?
Not unless you wanted to open up for any public comments.
Yeah.
Questions?
We should probably do that before we vote.
We're good.
Just to state my opinion, I really like having meetings in Harrodsburg because it feels nice to have some meetings here and then some meetings in Smithville. It feels like we just share the responsibility.
So,
My 2 pennies.
and that was, our thoughts on it too. Even if the office wasn't here, it would still continue to rotate between Smithville and Harrodsburg
And you
community
just have
centers.
to, you got your center.
Yeah, I mean, that was whenever I joined the board, Dustin and Thelma, Dustin and Joanne joined. We felt it was very important to rotate it every other month, so that way both communities had a chance. We played with the time a little bit. We tried 6 o'clock to allow people to get off work and make it, and ultimately it didn't make a difference kind of in attendance, so we went back to 5 because it works better. But yeah, we definitely want a goal. Did you just say 5:30?
Yeah, you rushed my dinner
You're
tonight.
being
It's still
heckled.
great.
It's hard to.
So, but I mean, that was the big thing, is we want to be at both locations. That way, some that can't make it to Smithville can get to Harrodsburg. Some that can't get to Harrodsburg can make it to Smithville.
And it's not every other month, because sometimes there's paperwork that needs to be
Budgeting, we
completed
have to be here.
different times.
Anything else? Non-Nancy? No 5:30 comment? No.
Everyone's afraid now.
Uh,
Everyone's afraid now.
yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Tell me, you got anything? Tony?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion. Meeting adjourned, 5:51.